Hello, it's me, Clayton. I just finished watching Moon Knight Episode 1. Now, when it comes to Moon Knight, it certainly has been going back and forth between Stephen Grant and Mark Spector when it comes to its influences for this version of the character. But this one seems to actually bring us closer to the Harrow versus Mark/Steven conflict. And it also happens to explain Khonshu to us in a way that happens to fit with the MCU's brand of humor, and it also happens to have some pretty cool action while they have it. I always heard that Mark Spector definitely was one of the more brutal Marvel heroes, that he generally, I wouldn't call him edgy per se, but I would say he's definitely properly dark. And with several uses of Khonshu throughout this episode, it definitely shows me why that is. I definitely love the horror influences throughout this episode. There's another scene where Khonshu chases Stephen Grant through hallways and such that I really, really enjoyed. And we also get introduced to Layla, who apparently is Mark Spector's wife, apparently. And she definitely seems like the type that would naturally be a candidate, according to Khonshu. And considering that Mark loves her and doesn't want her to go into this kind of work, I can see why he wants to keep her out of it. But yeah, I generally appreciate when heroes have these two sides to them when it comes to those that have dissociative identity disorder. Because Steven is clearly not a fighter, and he's a goofball even when he's trying to act tough, as seen in this episode, with the rather humorous but also cool-looking Moon Knight suit that looks like, in Mark Spector's words, a psychotic Colonel Sanders. But I also really like the badass side that Mark has, that generally is a take no prisoners kind of action hero who happens to be stuck in the body with someone who clearly is not nearly as competent. It makes for a funny dynamic between the two, but it also deals with a lot of drama, considering that Mark did hijack Steven's life, got him kicked out of his job, and now he's thrown into a war that Steven has absolutely no knowledge of, nor does he care to be a part of it. But he's going to have to be a part of it in order to survive. And I also appreciate the humor and also the terror that comes with an invisible enemy. Sort of like the Invisible Man film from 2020, only made even more unpredictable given the Egyptian jackals that Stephen Grant has to face. Plus, I do appreciate Ethan Hawke's villain generally being one that seems to generally be good to the people around him, but who clearly has something sinister going on it. You can tell he's not a guy to be trusted, but at the same time, he's clearly benefiting a lot of people around him, or at least that's how he says he's doing it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of mind control on his side with his little cult. Cults generally flock to people who are lost in life and people who generally need a direction, and I wouldn't be surprised if all these people generally fit that description. But of course, we're only 2 episodes into a 6-episode series, a third of the way through, and we're finally understanding what's going on here. So how are the 4 episodes in the future going to address this, and how are they going to give us the rest of the story? Only time will tell. But I'm definitely interested in seeing what's on the way. See you next time.